I'm a medieval historian, and indeed I'm working on the sharing of sacred space. Today's, this works, very good. Well, I'll devote my brief 5 minutes on the Dome of the Rock, a shrine that I'm sure you all know, built by the Umayyads originally in the late 7th century, on the spot where Prophet Muhammad went on his on the night journey, ascended to heaven, and which is described in via the Hadith and then described in Surah 17. The place is in the media a lot as a place of contention, especially with the tensions around the Temple Mount of the Haram al-Sharif in Jerusalem. But today I want to focus on something else, briefly. National Geographic had a nice special last month, a really interesting read. What they didn't quite cover, in just a line or two in fact, is the brief Christian period of the shrine of the Dome of the Rock. And I want to focus on that a bit more today in the next minutes. I want to start with shedding some light on this period of Christian possession of the shrine with this quote from a lesser known account from the crusading times by someone called Raoul of Caen from around 1115, called Gesta Tancredi, where he describes in a very Roman literary way, a Roman Christian, in fact, literary way. He describes the deeds and the heroic actions of a crusader called Tancred. In this particular episode, supposedly the crusaders came into the Dome of the Rock, or what they call the Templum Domini, the Temple of the Lord, and they found a big statue in gold with purple cloth and gems of the Prophet Muhammad, which they were kind of outraged about. Of course, this is not true, and in fact, Ralph of Caen was never on the First Crusade and never went to the Holy Land. Nonetheless, this story kind of stuck, as we will see. In any case, the First Crusade was the start of a sort of Christianizing of the site, not just Dome of the Rock, but also the Temple Mount as a whole. Christianizing in the sense that they focused a lot on Jerusalem and sort of the city that they just conquered, and they focused a lot on Old Testamentic biblical references, such as the story of Jacob's ladder, where Jacob has a dream where then Jerusalem will be built. And as you can see from that medieval image, particularly the stone upon which Jacob sleeps resembles quite a bit the rock inside the Dome of the Rock. In any case, what we see is sort of this Christianizing of the Temple Mount places. So the Templars take over the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which they briefly make into a palace and then their headquarters, and they call it the Temple of Solomon. And then Dome of the Rock becomes in fact a church, and they call it the Templum Domini, the Temple of the Lord, the Temple of Christ. And they install Augustinian canons there, who make it into a proper church with an altar. They cover the rock as well with marble, put actually a fence around it, and on top of it, because pilgrims were chipping away at the rock, trying to take pieces home. And in fact, as I'm sure you're aware of, the Templars will take the Dome of the Rock as their symbol in the following centuries. Dome of the Rock remains a church, by the way, until 1187 only, when Saladin takes it back, and then it never is Christian again. Nonetheless, when the Templars use the symbol of the Dome of the Rock, or the Templum Domini, as their symbol on their seals, for example, here, it starts a kind of cultural Christian tradition of depicting the Dome of the Rock as a Christian central shrine. For example, in Cambridge here, we have the round church called the Holy Sepulchre Church, but that was renamed. Originally, it is in fact a temple church made to resemble the Dome of the Rock. The best evidence of this kind of, emphasizing of this new shrine in a way for them are these early maps linked to these early crusading accounts. And just two examples here of the very early ones, where they just sort of show the temple complex, as you can see. I don't know if there's a laser on here. Sort of top, you know, if you know Jerusalem a bit, top corner, you see the Temple Mount area. Just a few decades later, we get maps like this, where they really emphasize the Dome of the Rock as a central shrine in Jerusalem, even more than Holy Sepulchre. I'll take it, I'm out of time. Yes. I'm going to get to the interesting bit where it looks like they're sharing. I'll just give it 30 seconds. So these are two accounts where there it does look like in the 12th century they are recognizing the importance of the site for Muslims, and in fact accommodating Muslims to pray at or near the shrine while it's in Christian possession. I'll skip this, but interesting link to the Katisma Church in terms of shared sacred space. Finally, this is an account that those of you who heard me speak last time I like working with, and then the link to the Marian stuff that I do. Jacques de Vitry, in his Historia Orientalis, kind of really condenses it all and really makes a lasting reputation of the Dome of the Rock as a Christian icon, in fact. So he links it to Mary. He does recognize the importance for Muslims, but doesn't know the kind of, actual reason why. He calls the way it looks in his days and today, in fact, a Christian building, links it to what Helen built, the mother of Constantine, and also links it to David. So he really kind of puts it all together, and also the claim that there's the Ark of the Covenant underneath. And all of that leads to, this is my final slide, the lasting impact, in fact, of this building in Christian cultural representations of Jerusalem, where the Dome of the Rock is, in fact, the central building rather than the Holy Sepulchre. Thank you.